Another Friday night at Verve in downtown Tampa, and I'm sitting here with a full-price Cosmopolitan that I had to buy myself. Me, buying my own drinks. At 32, with a body I've spent thousands maintaining at Pure Barre and a face that used to get me out of speeding tickets. This is not how things are supposed to work. Maybe try smiling, my friend Jessica suggests, sipping her own self-purchased martini. I am smiling. I've been smiling so hard my face hurts. Hair perfect. $300 at the salon yesterday. Dress perfect. The red revolve number that shows just enough cleavage. Makeup perfect. I watched 14 TikTok tutorials to get this smoky eye just right. And yet here I sit, functionally invisible, while men who look like they peaked in high school play pool and actively ignore me. When's the last time a guy bought you a drink? I ask Jessica, already knowing the answer will depress me. She thinks about it way too long. Maybe April? That software guy at Nancy's bachelorette? April. It's October. This is insane, I say, louder than I mean to. A guy at the bar glances over, finally, but quickly looks away when I make eye contact. What is wrong with men today? Are they all gay, broke dead? Jessica shrugs. Maybe they're just intimidated? Intimidated. That's what we tell ourselves, isn't it? That we're too beautiful, too successful, too much woman for these pathetic excuses for men. It couldn't possibly be anything else. Except I know it is. Deep down, in that place where I store all the uncomfortable truths I don't want to examine, I know exactly why Tyler from accounting won't ask me to lunch anymore. Why the guy at the gym started taking a different route to the weight rack. Why my Hinge matches have dried up despite my perfectly curated profile. It started about 2 years ago. The Great Male Retreat, I call it. Like someone flipped a switch and suddenly men everywhere decided to just stop trying. At first, I didn't notice. I was dating Bradley then, 6'2", investment banker Portia. The kind of guy who made other women stare with envy when we walked into a room. The kind of guy who should have been grateful to have me. Should have been. You're exhausting, he said the night he ended it. We were at his place in Hyde Park, and I'd just finished explaining why the restaurant he'd chosen for my birthday wasn't quite what I'd expected. Too loud, too casual, too beneath me. Exhausting? I'd laughed, actually laughed in his face. I'm exhausting because I have standards? No, Veronica. You're exhausting because nothing is ever good enough. No gesture is grand enough. No effort is sufficient. I plan a birthday dinner and you spend the entire night listing why it disappointed you. I buy you flowers and you complain they're not peonies. I work 70-hour weeks and you say I don't make enough time for you. But when I take time off, you say I lack ambition. So basically you're breaking up with me because I won't settle for mediocrity? I'm breaking up with you because you're a black hole of negativity that sucks the joy out of everything. He stood up, done with the conversation, done with me. I make $300,000 a year, drive a car that costs more than most people's houses, and somehow you've convinced me I'm not good enough. That's a special kind of toxic, Veronica. He paused at the door. Oh, and I know about Derek. My blood went cold. I don't know what you're talking about. Your personal trainer? The one you've been screwing every Thursday while I'm in client meetings? He shook his head. His girlfriend reached out to me. Showed me the texts. The photos you sent him from my bathroom. Classy. Bradley, I can explain. Don't. I'm done being disrespected by someone who thinks she deserves better while offering nothing but criticism and lies in return. I called him an asshole. Posted about it on Instagram. Carefully cropped photos that made it look like I'd ended things. Know your worth, ladies. Never settle for a man who can't handle a strong woman. 87 likes, 12 flame emojis, 6 yes queen comments. But the truth, I'd been cheating on Bradley for 3 months. Not just with Derek, though he was the main one. There was also that pharmaceutical sales rep I met at happy hour. The bartender from Burns who looked like a younger Bradley. The guy from my Pilates class who drove a Range Rover and had those perfect forearms. Each time I told myself I deserved better. Bradley was great, sure, but was he great enough? When you looked like me, when you maintained yourself like I did, shouldn't you have options? Wasn't it smart to keep your options open? Men do it all the time, I'd tell myself, sending nudes to Derek while Bradley slept next to me. They always have one foot out the door. I'm just playing their game. But Bradley was just the beginning. After him came the string of first dates that never turned into second dates. The Bumble matches who'd chat for days, then ghost the moment I suggested meeting. The guys at bars who'd approach, buy one drink, then mysteriously need to find their friends. "You're too picky," my mother said over lunch at Seasons 52. She'd been married to my stepfather for 15 years. A boring accountant who wore the same brand of khakis every day but worshipped the ground she walked on. How is having standards being too picky? "Veronica, you told the last guy you dated that his car embarrassed you." "It was a Honda Civic." "A used Honda Civic with cloth seats." "He was a resident at Tampa General." "He saves lives." "In a Honda Civic, mother." She sighed that long-suffering sigh I'd been hearing since high school. Not every man can be Bradley. Bradley was a loser who couldn't handle being challenged. But even as I said it, I knew it wasn't true. Bradley hadn't been a loser. He'd been successful, attractive, generous. He'd also been the last man to actively pursue me, and that was 18 months ago. Since then, it's been a wasteland. The dating apps were the first casualty. I'd been on all of them. Hinge, Bumble, that exclusive one called Raya that promised better quality men. For a while, the matches flowed like water. Doctors, lawyers, entrepreneurs, men with boats and second homes and investment portfolios. But something shifted. The matches slowed. The messages got boring. The effort just wasn't there anymore. "Hey," they'd write. "Hey, that's it? Try harder," I'd respond. They never did. I started screenshotting the worst attempts and posting them on my Instagram stories. "Ladies, this is what passes for effort in 2024. We need to do better." My girlfriends would laugh and commiserate. Men were lazy. Men were intimidated. Men couldn't handle successful women. We'd toast to our independence while secretly wondering why our phones stayed silent on Friday nights. But then came the incident at Whole Foods that really opened my eyes. I was reaching for the last container of organic blueberries when this guy, decent looking, probably mid-30s, wedding ring tan line but no ring, reached for it at the same time. "Oh, please take it," he said, pulling his hand back like I'd burned him. "Thanks," I said, giving him my best smile, the one that used to have men falling all over themselves. He nodded and started to walk away. "You know," I called after him, "most guys would use this as an opportunity to start a conversation." He stopped, turned around. The look on his face wasn't embarrassment or interest. It was exhaustion. "Yeah? And how would that go?" he asked. I'd make some joke about fighting over fruit. You'd laugh politely while mentally cataloging everything wrong with me. Height, clothes, career prospects. I'd ask for your number. You'd give it reluctantly, then ghost me after I text. Or worse, you'd screenshot my message and post it online for your friends to mock. I felt my face flush. That's a lot of assumptions. Is it? He looked me up and down. Not in a sexual way, but like he was solving an equation. Your whole energy screams not good enough. The way you looked at my shoes just now. The little frown when you noticed my Publix reusable bag instead of a Whole Foods one. The quick glance at my parking spot to see what I drive. I didn't. You did. We all do it. But with you, with women like you, it's not just evaluation, it's judgment. Constant, exhausting judgment. He shook his head. I'm Jake, by the way. I'm a veterinarian. I drive a 5-year-old pickup truck because it's practical for work. I rent a 1-bedroom apartment in Seminole Heights because I'm saving to buy a house. I like craft beer and college football and occasionally playing video games with my friends, and absolutely none of that would be good enough for you. You don't know me. I know you posted 3 Instagram stories this week complaining about men. I know because my ex follows you and likes to send them to me as examples of why she's glad we're dating. My mouth fell open. Your ex follows me? Small world. Tampa's not that big. He smiled, but it wasn't friendly. Look, I'm sure you're a nice person under all that, whatever that is, but guys talk. We share horror stories just like you do, and honestly, most of us have decided it's not worth it anymore. The juice isn't worth the squeeze, as they say. So you're just giving up? All of you? Not giving up. Just reallocating resources. I'd rather spend my Friday nights with my dog than get dressed up to be told I'm not tall enough, rich enough, ambitious enough. He grabbed a container of regular blueberries. Good luck with everything. I stood there holding my organic blueberries, watching him walk away, feeling something I couldn't quite name. Anger, embarrassment, fear, that was 6 months ago. Since then, I've noticed it everywhere. The way men actively avoid eye contact at the gym, how they'll take a different elevator if I'm waiting, the wide berth they give me at bars like I'm surrounded by an invisible force field. We need to do something, I announced at brunch last Sunday. 5 of us at Ulele, all single, all frustrated. Like what? Megan asked. Kidnap them? I'm serious. We need to figure out why men aren't approaching anymore. Isn't it obvious? Tiffany said, already 3 mimosas in. They're scared of being Me Too'd. That's such bullshit, I said. Asking someone out isn't harassment. Tell that to the guy from my office who got fired for inviting a coworker to coffee, Nicole chimed in. There had to be more to it than that. Was there, though? She challenged. Or have we made it so risky for men to express interest that they've just stopped? I wanted to argue, but then I remembered Kevin from accounting. Sweet, harmless Kevin who'd asked if I wanted to grab lunch sometime. I'd screenshotted his message and sent it to the group chat with, "Another one thinks he has a chance." He'd never spoken to me again, actively avoided the break room when I was there. So what do we do? Jessica asked. We could try approaching them, Megan suggested quietly. The table went silent. I'm not chasing a man, Tiffany said finally. That's not how it works. Clearly it's not working the current way either, Megan countered. But we all knew none of us would do it. We'd been raised on a steady diet of if he wanted to, he would, and never chase a man, and know your worth. The idea of approaching a man, of risking rejection, of putting ourselves out there, it was terrifying. So we did what we always do, ordered another round and complained about how men these days have no balls. But that night, alone in my apartment, scrolling through Instagram and seeing all the happy couples, I did something I hadn't done in years. I reflected, really reflected. The last guy who'd shown genuine interest was a teacher named David, sweet, funny, passionate about his job. He'd taken me to a cool little restaurant in Ybor, told stories that made me laugh, looked at me like I hung the moon. I'd ended it after 3 dates because he mentioned his studio apartment and his 10-year-old car. Before him was Marcus, the nurse who worked 12-hour shifts and still made time to send good morning texts. I'd ghosted him after he suggested we cook dinner at his place, instead of going out because he was saving for his sister's wedding. Before that, Tom the firefighter who'd literally saved people's lives but wasn't good enough because he wore cargo shorts on our second date. Each one had tried, each one had been deemed not enough, and with almost every single one I'd had someone else on the side. It was like a sickness, this need to always have a backup plan, to always be shopping for something better. With Tom, it was his friend Kyle, taller, better dressed, drove a BMW instead of Tom's F-150. I'd flirt with Kyle at every group gathering right in front of Tom, touch his arm when I laughed, find excuses to text him. Just friends, I'd say when Tom questioned it. Don't be so insecure. The night Tom found us together in his own apartment, I'd used the spare key he'd given me. The look on his face broke something in him. I could see it happen, watch the light go out of his eyes. My first thought wasn't guilt. It was annoyance that I'd been caught. "I'm not even angry," he'd said quietly, while Kyle scrambled for his clothes. "I'm just done with all of it, with trying." He moved to Orlando the next month. Mutual friends said he stopped dating entirely, just focused on work, his dog, his hobbies. Happy, they said. Happier than he'd ever been with me. With Marcus, it was worse. He was so good, so pure, that I almost felt bad. Almost. But there was this doctor at the hospital where he worked. Eduardo, chief resident, Rolex, stories about his vacation home in Aspen. I'd show up at Marcus's workplace in my tightest scrubs, ordered online, I wasn't a nurse, pretending to surprise him with lunch. Really, I was there to parade past Eduardo's office. It worked. Eduardo started texting, started inviting me to professional networking events that were really just excuses to get drinks. Marcus trusted me completely. Why wouldn't he? I was beautiful, successful. I'd lied about my marketing coordinator job, made it sound like I was a director. Choosing to be with him. He felt lucky. The night Marcus surprised me at Eduardo's condo with flowers. He'd tracked my location to make sure I was safe after I'd said I was with girlfriends. Should have been rock bottom. The way his face crumpled. The way he just set the flowers on Eduardo's counter and left without a word. But that wasn't my worst transgression. My worst was stealing from him. "I need money for my car payment," I'd told him a week before he caught me. "Just until my bonus comes through." He'd given me $800 without question, money I spent on a bag I'd seen a girl wearing at Hyde Park, money he'd probably saved by picking up extra shifts, working holidays, missing time with his family. I never paid him back. Blocked his number after the Eduardo incident. Told mutual friends he'd been emotionally abusive when they asked what happened. Some believed me, some didn't. I posted inspirational quotes about surviving narcissistic relationships and got hundreds of likes from women who didn't know I was the narcissist in the story. And now I sit at bars alone buying my own drinks, wondering where all the good men went. They didn't go anywhere. They just stopped trying. And who could blame them? I think about Jake from Whole Foods sometimes. Wonder if his ex appreciates him. Wonder if she tells him his truck is just fine, his apartment is cozy, his job is admirable. Wonder if she screenshots his texts to share how lucky she is instead of mocking him. It's the apps, we tell ourselves. Everyone's too busy, we say. Men are just intimidated by successful women, we insist. But the truth is simpler and harder to swallow. We made approaching us feel like a minefield. We turned every interaction into a test they were destined to fail. We shared their efforts for laughs and likes. We built our standards so high that even good men stopped trying to climb. And now we sit at bars, dressed to kill, wondering why we're invisible. There's a guy here tonight, sitting with friends, laughing at something on his phone, cute in that approachable way, not Instagram hot, just nice looking. Button-down shirt, clean-shaven, good smile. The kind of guy I would have dismissed a year ago for being too average. He glances my way. Our eyes meet for a second. I smile. A real smile, not the practiced one. He looks away. His friend says something and they all laugh. One of them glances at me and shakes his head. I can't hear what they're saying, but I can guess. She's one of those. Not worth it. Trust me, bro. And the thing is, they're right. I am one of those. Or was, or still am, who knows? Old habits die hard, and I still feel that familiar surge of superiority when I see a guy with an Android phone or New Balance sneakers. Should we get another round? Jessica asks. I look at my empty glass, $12 for a Cosmopolitan I bought myself in a bar full of men who won't look twice at me. Sure, I say. But I'm switching to wine. The house red. She looks at me like I've grown a second head. House wine? Are you feeling okay? Just trying something new. Clearly the old way isn't working. Because clearly what I've been doing isn't working. And maybe, just maybe, the problem isn't that men stopped approaching. Maybe it's that we gave them every reason to stay away. But knowing that and changing it are two different things. I've spent so long building walls, I'm not sure I remember how to tear them down. So long judging every man who showed interest that I've forgotten how to just be interested back. The truth is uglier than just judgment, though. I've forgotten how to be faithful, how to be satisfied, how to look at what I have instead of constantly shopping for what I could get. Even now, sitting here drowning in self-pity about being alone, I know that if someone approached me tonight, if they met my standards, if they tried hard enough, I'd probably cheat on them within 3 months. It's what I do. What I've always done. My therapist, the one I saw for exactly 3 sessions before deciding she was too confrontational, called it self-sabotage rooted in deep insecurity. Said I destroyed relationships before they could destroy me. That I collected men like trophies to prove my worth while simultaneously proving I was worthless by how I treated them. "You're not looking for love," she'd said. "You're looking for validation. And validation is never enough because it's external. Until you learn to validate yourself, you'll keep destroying everyone who tries to love you." I'd fired her via text that night, posted about toxic therapists who project their own issues onto clients, got 43 likes and recommendations for a better therapist who would tell me what I wanted to hear. The bartender brings my wine. It's terrible. I drink it anyway. "This sucks," Jessica declares. "I'm going home to watch Netflix." One by one, my friends peel off, home to their apartments, their cats, their wine subscriptions, and true crime documentaries, home to complain in group chats about how men are trash while wondering why they're alone. I should go too. Should go home and delete the 17 screenshots of pathetic messages from guys who dared to show interest. Should think about therapy, maybe. Should definitely think about why I'm 32 and haven't had a real relationship since Bradley. But I don't. I sit there with my terrible wine watching the room. Watching how easily conversation flows between people who haven't weaponized every interaction. Watching couples who probably started with "hey" and somehow made it work. That guy, the normal-looking one, gets up to leave. Has to walk past me to get to the door. For one crazy second, I think about saying something. Anything. "Nice shirt. Come here often? Even just hi." But I don't, because I'm Veronica and Veronicas don't chase. Veronicas wait to be approached with perfect opening lines and grand gestures. Veronicas have standards. Veronicas go home alone. He walks past without a glance. His friends follow. The bar feels emptier. "Another?" the bartender asks, gesturing at my empty glass. "No," I say. "I'm good." But I'm not. Haven't been for a while. Maybe since Bradley, maybe before. Hard to tell when the slide started, when confidence became arrogance, when standards became shields. I pay my tab, $68 for 3 drinks and an education in humility, and head for the door. Outside, the October air is still thick with humidity. Tampa never really cools down, just becomes slightly less swampy. I stand there for a moment, watching people pass. Couples, mostly. Happy, normal. Probably didn't meet because he had the perfect opening line or drove the right car. My phone buzzes, the group chat. "This city is trash for dating," Megan has written. "I'm downloading Raya." "Girl, yes," Tiffany responds. "Higher quality men on there." I type out a response, something about how Raya is just the same disappointment in a prettier package, then delete it. Type again, delete again. Finally, I just write, "Good luck." Because what else is there to say? That we're the problem? That we've priced ourselves out of the market? That we've turned dating into such a minefield that men have simply opted out? They wouldn't listen anyway. I wouldn't have listened a year ago, maybe not even 6 months ago. But tonight, going home to my empty apartment with its carefully curated aesthetic and its silence, I'm listening. To Jake from Whole Foods, to Bradley, To all the men who tried and failed to meet impossible standards. Message received, loud and clear. The question is, what do I do about it? I think about that teacher, David. Wonder if he's still single. Think about sending a text. Hey, been thinking about you. Then realize I deleted his number months ago along with all the others who didn't measure up. So I do the only thing I can do. I go home. Pour a glass of wine. Not the good stuff, just regular wine for a regular night. And sit with the discomfort of realizing I'm not the victim in this story. Tomorrow, maybe I'll smile at the guy at the coffee shop. Maybe I'll say thank you when someone holds the door. Maybe I'll stop looking for reasons to dismiss and start looking for reasons to connect. Or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll wake up tomorrow and fall back into old patterns. Post another story about how men need to do better. Wait for a unicorn that doesn't exist. Time will tell. But tonight, for the first time in a long time, I see it clearly. The Great Male Retreat isn't about them at all. It's about us. What we demanded, what we mocked, what we made impossible. They didn't retreat. They were driven away by women like me.